Welcome to another episode of Wood Couture Podcast. In today's show, we have Neel Shukla, a friend, an artist, son of Dubai, and above all, the founder and creative director of Four Seasons Ramesh Gallery, recently rebranded as Four. Welcome to the show, Neel.
Thank you for having me, and thank you and welcome to my gallery, my art studio.
Thank you for hosting us. It's incredible, and I sincerely advise everybody to come and visit Neel here at the studio. It's a true experience. Neel, let me start because we are all curious. Where it all started for you? At what point in life you discovered the art inspiration?
Well, I mean, the art comes from my family. My grandfather was a textile designer, and he worked in the mills and Reliance Mills in India. My father's a photographer who came in the UAE in the 1960s, before the UAE is formed in the early 60s. And it's been in my blood for a very long time. Even though I was academically trained, or not trained, but schooled to be a finance person, but it just didn't gel well with me. And when I came back to the UAE, I realized I want to go back to what I was true to, which is being an artist and crafting and creating.
Not many people knows that it is incredible the DNA that there is in your family when we're talking about art. And obviously, you grow up following the footsteps of your father that he framed and, documented the history of the UAE, from the 1960s until now. And how is it like in your profession, to follow that kind of footstep? Do you feel the pressure?
No, I feel I compliment his success, and they both, my father and my mother, worked so hard to keep the history of the UAE alive in form of negatives, which they have thousands of them. And so I wanted to add a new layer to that, and which is adding a creative element to the nation, and crafting and creating and building on their legacy going forward. So this place in Jebel Ali is created from scratch. So this is my art studio. Next to my art studio is going to be my father's full darkroom experience, 10 booths, which is going to be a Ramesh Shukla Institute of Photography, where it's going to have master classes, and you're all welcome to attend. It's all going to be free, and a handful of people will be invited, only 10 at a time, and who are going to learn the analog photography experience through my father's hands and his eyes, and sharing his experience of 55 years to people out there.
You were educated in the US. You did your undergraduate, you did your MBA in Florida, so best university. And everybody tried to chase the American dream. But you decided to come back. Why did you decide to come back to Dubai and carry on and build your legacy in Dubai?
Well, it's a funny story because I was working for a company which is Fine Art Lamps. I was crafting lights for almost 85 years now. And during my master's, they got a project in Dubai called the Burj Al Arab. Since I was from here, I was looking into exploring the project, and through my resources, I ended up securing the project. I did the entire lighting, all the decorative lighting for the Burj Al Arab. So when I came here, I met all my old friends. I was pretty much born in Dubai, and there was a lot of unique bonding connectivity in my presence of the two years I was here. And one of my older friends was Majid Al-Gurer, and he had just built the Burj Al Arab shopping center in Burj Al Arab, and had all the fancy brands, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Saks Fifth Avenue, but he didn't have art, didn't have culture. So he told me, listen, let's partner together and let's open an art gallery. So we opened an art gallery and Dome Cafe back to back. So it was art, coffee, culture, and that's how it started. And that's how I got, in a way, stuck back in Dubai.
Yeah, obviously, you used to, and you have a massive track record dealing for prestigious process, from royal palaces to Burj Al Arab, Grosvner House, you name it, W the Palm. But for some reasons in your interviews, you set two clear milestone in your career as an individual and as the company. One being the Burj Al Arab, saying this is where I went to the next level.
That's right.
And the second step was the W,
yes,
on the Palm. So let's start with Burj Al Arab. What does it take to work on the most known hotel in the world, the 7-star hotel, and an iconic hotel? How did you enter that kind of a job? I mean,
I
what does it take?
I was a one man. I didn't have a car. If I had $100 in my pocket, it would be too much. I did not. I had my catalog, my knowledge, my resources from Miami. The factory was in Miami, and I came over here and I realized that this project was something that we wanted to be involved with, and I did so many cold calls, and upon request I would just show up without meetings to secure the project, and I did so much work to make that happen. In those particular years I did thousands of artworks. I think I produced 60,000 artworks for hotels in the region, all painted, photographs, prints, and back then we used to buy prints from Europe, Italy, from Spain, to fly in, to frame it. Our framing shop was just my wife and I. We had two machines with cut and join, and we used to put the frame together. So from that point on, the company grew. I had people who understood my passion. And when the W came, I knew that at that point in my life, I wanted to start making iconic sculptures. And doing that is just been a roller coaster journey for me. It's a learning experience. It's not really crafting, it's actually engineering. It's art engineering. But we had that manufacturing capability, the skill, the craft, which was lacking here, and we were able to supply that craft work.
What was the attraction with lighting? Just you bumped into that, or did you purposely say, no, I want to start with lighting in my life?
No, so my first job while at school, and even when I was here in Dubai, I paid for my ticket to go to the United States by making commissions in selling greeting cards. My mother and father used to make greeting cards, and so I used to have a briefcase, and I used to go to the trade center up and down. I was 14 years old, and I used to get orders, and my parents gave me commission to earn enough money to get a ticket to go to the United States. So when I went to school in the US, I realized I'm not going to just go to school and just party. I decided I'm going to go to school, at the same time I'm going to get a job. And my first job was Bloomingdale's in the Falls, the Falls in Miami. Mm-hmm. And I go there were several departments that were hiring, and there was an opening in the lamps department. And I said, you know what, I like this. I could have gone to fashion or cosmetics. No, I went to lamps, and the first lamps I started selling or understanding was Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren had just come out of the home line, and I started working in Ralph Lauren domestic and selling lamps. So I was just connected with lighting at that period of my life.
Wow, and it's such a coincidence because lighting is very important in photography, and I think it was in your DNA.
It was in my DNA.
And it's brilliant. Then from Burj Al Arab, then you say my next, let's say, iconic project, or the kind of set me off to an Ivy League in the art world. It was the W on the palm.
That's right.
And there's an article where they're describing this 5,500 kilograms sculpture. Yeah. Took us through, what does it take to make five and a half tons of sculpture.
First of all, in our industry, the most important thing is chemistry between people, the creatives. So the W Hotel, the stakeholders are the Sheikh group, and the person who was part of managing the entire project, or the owner of that, was Mohammed Ali Sherry, who's a good friend of mine. And Mohammed saw the passion in me when I was crafting, creating. I was involved physically in the hotel. I made everything bespoke, and it was my team just doing remote work. I was me on site working and making sure everything was perfect. And when the W sculpture need to be created, they're going to go somewhere in the US, and I told him, give me the chance. And he was very hesitant. He's like, I don't think you have the capabilities of doing this, because you've never done something like this. I said, I will prove to you that I can do this. And without even getting an order, I actually made a prototype, a physical actual scale, did all the 3D drawings, and I presented to the team and to him. And when they saw that I really was putting my energy into it, he took a chance on me. He says, you know what, there's something in this person. Even though there was a lot of chance that, this guy doesn't come from any of the background of crafting or creating or even installing such a iconic sculpture. So he took a lot of chance on me, knowing that I might fail. But that's about relationship and chemistry between people, the dynamic passion that you have. So he was my Cupid to give me this project. And from that point on, when he said yes, that go ahead and do it, I put my heart, my soul, my life into it, and that's it. It was almost 6 months incredible journey. You can't imagine what we went through to create, craft, install that sculpture. If you see the sculpture, it weighs 4.5 tons, but it still stands on 2 points. Yeah, and it goes 2 meters down on the parking lot. The complexity of installing on the palm, dead load, earthquake, wind, there's so much elements involved. Of course, the waterproofing and the rust factor, and entire W has all LED technology. It changes its color, and there's a lot of tech that goes into making that sculpture and installing it. So until this day, it's testament of time is there. And I've been asked to actually hopefully make another one on the rooftop, because they want it the same philosophy on the rooftop also.
How deep the manufacturing skills have to be, you know, obviously, as well as all the creative skills are paramount, but the manufacturing skills, when you're creating something like that, because, you know, I mean, the technology behind that, you know, where do you start? I mean,
just research, a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of experimentation. Like an example is what you're seeing right now. We're producing the entire light fixture of the Hakkasan in Atlantis. A couple of months ago, we had no idea how to do this. So again, having a studio of this nature, the scale, we are able to experiment, play, develop prototypes for no reason. We are not doing it because we want to get an order. We just do it because we want to experiment, we want to try, and knowing that we're going to fail, and that's part of the process. Failure is actually, we are happy to fail, and that's what keeps us evolving and going forward. So you saw on the floor, we had all the Hakkasan elements on display.
640 pieces. Yeah. Wow. How long does it take to produce all that?
Well, we are on a very tight deadline, and we have to install everything end of the month, which is like in 7 days, I think. So I had 2 teams working full time on this. So you're going to see me on a scaffolding in the Hakkasan installing many of those. Because I want to be involved, I want to be making sure it goes perfect, because I know if I'm there, I know it's done right.
It is incredible listening to you, your humility as a human being. You say, I like to fail. So if I ask you, if you look back your career, what's your favorite failure?
Oh my God, there's so many.
But the one that stands out.
My favorite failure, oh my God, I wish I would have started this 20 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think if I had done that, I would have given so many people who are around me a greater opportunity to evolve, to grow, and I think we'd be in a much bigger company than we are right now. It's not about just becoming big, but actually growing our creative talent. And I think timing is what I feel that I should start a while ago.
So consider the amount of research and let's say discussions or thinking you have to do. When you lose focus or you're not totally focused, what you do to gain focus again? What's your habit?
I mean, if you look at me, when I'm sitting at home watching television or anything whatsoever, I'm actually on the laptop or an iPad. So I'm never really, one eye is here, one eye is on my mind cannot switch off, not learning. It's a constant osmosis. I keep on soaking in all the time, and it's just part of my DNA. And we do so much. I've seen we do picture framing, we do sculpting, we do painting, and I have a gallery which I also run. So there's a lot of different things that takes resources. It's a lot of mental resources, and my mind cannot switch off. It's impossible. I don't think I can take a vacation of not being able to work all the time. So just, I guess, part of me.
You mentioned something before when you were talking about your experiences with, the hotel industry and the Coast Hotel in Paris and meeting Jacques Garcia. And you said he's kind of the creator of the first real boutique hotel. And so nowadays there is a trend. If you look at all the hotel companies, they're going lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, you're working on at 25 hours, which is part of the portfolio of the new company created by Accor and it's more capital on lifestyle. And they were about 15 or 16 brands.
Yeah.
What's your views on lifestyle brands? What's your views on the notion of lifestyle? What does lifestyle mean to you?
Because at the end of the day, the new generation, which is my kids, They are just more travel driven. They're more experience driven, and this is what draws them. Our generation, which are more about comfort and design, I don't think it relates to this new generation anymore. So the lifestyle appeals to different lifestyle, dynamics. So Hotel 25 has different segments to the hotel. So you have the nomadic people, the artist, and you're crafting experience based on those individuals. They feel at home when they go there. It's not about the bling, but it's about the rawness of who you are. You touch your anatomy, your inside aspiration in those places. So 25 Hotel, I'm supplying, I think, 8,000 pieces.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 640 unique line items. We're crafting so much for this hotel. It is mind blowing. My team's brains are coming out at the moment. But I think it's an evolution in pure lifestyle boutique hotel. I think it's going to be the first of its kind in the region. We are making, you're going to go to every single aspect of the hotel. You're going to see something like, how did that happen? But not knowing it was made for that reason. It's because it's really vintage, it's raw, and you feel completely, in the space. We have worked so hard. I mean, the project has been going on since last year because of COVID kind of slowed down. And when the award took place and they started getting the awards, because we put so much time, effort into learning about the brand, the hotel, that we were ready, and with bullets in our pistol to shoot and begin the project.
In furniture manufacturing, we're saying that putting the furniture in a lifestyle hotel or any hotel is like putting a dress on. But you are an artist and also a very experienced art consultant. What is the challenge of putting the beauty and the decorations and the jewelry, let's call it, into a lifestyle hotel? What is the challenges?
Well, I mean, again, it's all unique storytelling. You're creating stories for hotels. The moment you walk out, you go with an experience. It's like your grandmother. When you go to sleep at night, she tells a story. My dear son, go to sleep. Tomorrow, she tells you, and you get the nostalgia going. So that's how, in a way, you think of the hotel as your grandmother, telling you a story the moment you walk in, you walk out. And you want to remember those stories. So our art experiences are those stories. Every single element has a story to relate to your eyes, to your senses. And sometimes it's kind of challenging. So I have to look to my old peers and hear them and go back to my senses, what story they want to hear. So a lot of times I listen to my kids, and I want to see what they have to say. And that gives me a lot of ideas and aspirations. I give an example. I was pitching for a project in the Dera city center in the food court. So a lot of people invited for this competition. I competed also, and they told me this and come out something really crazy concept that relates to food, to children, and the young audience. So I'm sitting with my children, I'm talking to them, and I'm kind of directly interviewing them, and I'm finding out what they want, whatever. And I see some of my kids that love cotton candy, and one of my sons is taking a spoon, eating cotton candy with a spoon. I'm like, why is he doing that? Then I realized, okay, there's something there. So why are you doing this? You know what? I said, use a fork, knife. No, it's easy with a spoon. I'm like, you know what? So this is a journey about eating with a kid. They like spoons. So I crafted a prototype, a cloud made of bamboo. Inside is lightning and is falling spoons. So it's about a child seeing a cotton candy cloud, spoons are falling, and immediately they connect to that. And I sketched it, they saw it, they loved it. They're like, we love this. So they were in a way my mentors, my test pilots, and my guinea pigs to see if something I'm creating has a meaning to them. So a lot of times you have to test things on different people and see if there's substance in what I do.
So when you get inspiration like that, do you have a pencil in your pocket?
iPad. I'm an iPad. I'm an iPad. It's technology. Steve Jobs, I love you. Thank you very much for giving me the iPad with a pen. Tap, start drawing.
So you start drawing there and there. Even though you are with your kid, your brain start functioning. And say, here we go. Now I have to do it.
If I show my iPad, I have so many sketches, and sometimes I go back and I'm like, what was that? What was that drawing? What was that about? Then it comes back to me, okay, this is what's going on at that time. I always draw at things, and I drabble all the time.
Do you think the artwork in a lifestyle hotel is long-lasting, or like your dress, every now and then it's better to change it?
As an example, Grosvner House. I did the entire artwork Grosvner House Tower 1, Tower 2, and most of the restaurants over there. Grosvner House is 11 years old, and everything's still there. It's lasting, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. And I make things housekeeping friendly. I don't want my clients to say, Neel did that thing, it broke down, it's coming back now. I want to make things that say, has longevity is important. So as a lifestyle hotel or a normal 5-star bling brand, we have to build things with quality, and that's going to give value to the client. And that's the only way they're going to come back to you for your next project. So it's very, very important. They may add to that, they may supplement that, but I make things that's going to last.
Have you ever been to a place, let's say Grosvner House,
Yeah.
in a place, maybe one area of Grosvner House, and you look and say, I love my creation, but you know what? It would be better if I put that kind of piece. Have you ever got that feeling?
Of course, always. I'm so critical in my studio. I know when we produce things and it's going, I'm like, I don't like it. They're like, sir, shut up. It's finished. We have a delivery. I'm like, no, I don't like it. And it's my DNA. It's gonna go there. I don't feel it's right. We gotta tweak it or change it. It's gotta be really, really, because I'm very critical. I know if I don't love it, if I don't see it, I know you, Filippo, or somebody else will have the same feeling, and I can't have that. So yeah, there's many projects that I want to tweak it, then I'll go to GM. I'll say, Pam, I love you. Pam Wilby, she's GM of Grosvner House. Can we change this? Not that I want new business from you, but I just want to change it because I think we can improve it, we can make it better. So yeah, I do bring it up, and I say it in all honesty. And it's not about commerce. It's art, and it's got to be beautiful, and it's got to be, again, it's aesthetically pleasing. So I don't mind changing it. And I tell my clients, when I sign a contract, listen, the contract means nothing to me. If what you take from me, if you don't love it, if you don't say, wow, Neel made this, please don't take it. I'll take it back. Let's make something else you're going to love, and it's going to do justice to your place.
That's true, genuine passion, because to take something back,
Yeah.
And then I say, hey, I replace it for the sake of seeing this place sparkle is incredible.
Yeah, I have to.
And I must admit, you're very consistent, even in all your interviews. You always say, I like the combination of creativity and functionality. Which is incredible, because an artist is very much, outrageous, very, his mindset is completely different than a normal human being, and you are in a different category, because you're an artist. This is my personal opinion, but you're talking about functionality. Why is functionality so important to you?
Especially now, because what's going on in the world with the COVID, and is everything has to be created, it can be cleaned, it can be sanitized. So it is very important that what we produce has a long-lasting effect in housekeeping. It's very, very important. We don't want things to break down. And it's value. We have to give people value. I don't want to get now, we buy things and within a month it breaks down. How does it make you feel? Like, it's junk. Why did I do that? I'll never go there again, If you have some things that will last you, 2, 3, 4 years, be like, yeah, you know what? I want another one of that. I like that. And to me, I will never present something if I don't know if I can make it right. It will never leave my art studio. We do testing and trials over here for everything we craft and create, and we want to make sure that it's going to last a very, very long time. It's very, very important.
One of your biggest inspirations is nature. You always say, I get inspired by nature.
Yeah.
So let me ask you one question. There is a lot of industries that progress the subject of sustainability, the green chapter, let's call it. How do you feel the hospitality industry is doing on that subject?
I mean, I'm playing my part. A lot of things that I produce in my studio are all recycled. So all my wood things, my paper things, if you see that one over there, that's actually recyclable paper. That mount board, and the camera doesn't see that, but that mount board comes in, the paper comes in between mount boards. So I took all that, I made a die, I cut it, and then that becomes an artwork. And that represents scales of a fish. So how do we use just normal, lasting things over here in my workshop to craft those things? A lot of the wood things I create in my studio are just crates that I had that could be thrown away, but I break them down and I make them into art installations. So I use everything in my art studio, nothing gets thrown out, especially anything, the noble material doesn't get thrown. Even the nails that we have, We use them for our different projects. We have to use it. So I'm doing my part to be as sustainable as possible, to give, and when I tell my clients, everything that you see, or majority of things you see, is part of sustainable. Even the bubble wrap that we utilize, that is not thrown away. So the other artwork that you saw outside, the beautiful ceramic pieces,
yes,
a lot of them have bubble wrap inside.
Wow.
So all the bubble wrap that you use to pack the artwork to go on out, then the air is gone, the bubble is flat. So what do you do with that? You can either throw it out, so I use that to create the form, the structure of the artwork you saw.
Well, so I must admit, you probably, well, but you'd be surprised. I would say you probably one of the few that have probably 100% recycling artwork.
Oh, you're wearing it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're wearing this. This is recycled.
Yeah, exactly. But you'll be surprised, in recent interviews for other podcasts, is that I had global interior designers telling me that in the last 3 years, they never had the request to incorporate sustainability in their design. How do you respond to that?
Really? That's shocking. It's impossible. That's appalling. I can't believe they would say that. Because it's important, what are we going to leave our children? What are we going to leave our children? And already there's such scarce resources in the world. If you look at it, the cost of just water and normal things are so expensive because we utilize it and we abuse it so much. So it is part of our humanity that we have to be recycling and what we have. Use it as much as possible to the point that that's it. It cannot be utilized anymore. I mean, you have to be. I mean, honestly, the reason I'm telling this is actually a tent. Wow. This is a tent from, I think, the people make tents, whatever, Ramadan, whatever, and they were throwing all these things away. And I saw it. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to buy this. I'm going to make our bibs for the studio. So these are all recyclable things. So I'd rather not buy it. I'd rather make things that are thrown away.
How do you recruit a trainee artist to come and work for you? What quality do you look for?
Zero. Just heart.
So attitude, inspirations,
passion.
skills. What is the passion?
That's it.
So how
in life you can learn everything.
Right.
I listen. I didn't know how to make all these things. I had no idea. Like an example, this piece here. Did I know how to make this? Did I know how to make this? I didn't know how to make all these things. I had no idea. And I found out. I mean, if you think about it, there's a copy of actually actual crystal piece. It was done for Four Seasons in Riyadh. But the original was much more expensive. Then we cast it, crafted. This is actually a prototype. And the finish looks absolutely amazing. It looks stunning. So I had passion, I had heart, and I just wanted to make something different. So we got involved. And so I look for people who have passion and they have heart of making something of themselves and crafting, creating.
Do you believe that with your skills and technology, sometimes some of these pieces look better than the originals? Or the branded one, let's call it?
Yeah, but maybe. I hope so.
I'm sure you do, with all your experience.
Maybe so. Hope so.
Yeah. And let's talk about the future and Neel bucket list. What's in your bucket list for the next 2 to 3 years? What you want to achieve?
Oh, well, I want to, of course, do much more unique things here. As you can see, the Hakkasan project is doing beautiful, so do more of that. I like to always keep on evolving. If you look at what I'm posting, everything is always new, something completely different. So that's just want to keep on doing more and more new things all the time. I don't want to sit on my roles and just relax and everything. No, just experiment with new techniques, media, maybe technology. Add new tech to what we're crafting somehow.
What sense? Software or new technology, new materials?
Movement.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you think you're going to go into performing arts?
Yeah, I can dance. No. No, I don't know. No, I think I want to add more movement into products. Maybe, there's so much nanotechnology coming in play nowadays. So I think I want to incorporate that into my sculptures, more kinetic movement maybe, or more light or more solar energy. I want to, one of my projects was making the Music Man, which I produced for the So Hotel in DMCC. So when I produced that, it was a lifestyle sculpture with all the musical instruments on top. And I want to incorporate a Bluetooth transmitter. So when you come close to it, it starts playing music, jazz, and you go away, it stops playing. So more of that interactive approach. Not just static, but more functional pieces.
So that plays real music.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting actually piece of art, because I wanted to ask you a question that, 3 years ago we were talking about co-living, co-sharing, co-working. Then COVID came, everybody talks about social distancing. So before they want us to bring us together, now they want to tear us apart. So do you think that art can help in bringing people together? I mean, your sculpture with the music, music is a catalyst for drawing people. But what do you think, or how are you approaching project in order to try to get art to bring people together?
I think art is a universal, it's got a universal chemistry. It connects the most simplest person on the street to the most richest person on earth. And that has such an amazing draw, and people see it in such different ways. But now I want to create art exactly like that, that connects those two different levels of people. And now I create art for more for the young generation, the youth. So the Falcon you saw in DMCC, in Silicon Oasis, it was relating more to the young generation.
The Radisson Hotel,
The Radisson
right?
Hotel, yeah. How do you that, because that's my new audience. So that I think will bring people together, gravitate people more and more together.
Well, but you don't create only art, you create brands, because all your art or your, become brands. The Falcon, the piece in the W Hotel. I mean, there's this piece you created for Akasan restaurants. It's kind of you put in a sparkle on top of a brand. Exactly. Like you're the kind of Nusret, of the art world. Talking of which, obviously, art is craftsmanship. And we were having a discussion before about the disappearance of these craftsmen. The new generation, they love computers, they love many other professions, but they stay away from the craftsmanship. Is this a case in the art world too?
It's sad if you look at this part of the world. One of the big craft was sadhu. And when I was working on the Al-Seef Hotel, the designers, KCA, they spec'd sadhu to almost all the rooms. And we started doing the research to actually look for sadhu craftsmen, and that doesn't exist anymore. They're all gone. It doesn't exist. So my contribution, what I like to do in the art studio, we have a lot of space. I want to start creating an entire division of sadhu weaving as a craft, and hopefully bring that beautiful skill back, and then revitalize to the generations that have lost, and bring something that was existing here for so many years in this part of the world as a craft. So more and more taking away a little bit of the digital connectivity from the young generation and giving more the hand skill. When my son came, and again, he's a victim to all these digital things, but when he came, he just got really involved with the whole process, and his other friends came, they got involved with the process. So more and more, this place, we want to do an institute of crafting, not just a commercial space, but using the space for that particular reason, bring the youth here and let them be part of the experience.
Obviously, the UAE gave a lot to you and your family, but also, likewise, you guys gave a lot to the community. You involve the community, like you're saying, your project having, your father teaching people to do, photography and, developing, the old way of doing it, digitally.
Analog.
Which is, and for free.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. It's remarkable giving back the community. How is Dubai progressing on the art chapter, or the UAE, in your opinion, compared to, other nations?
I mean, it's a young country. It's 50 years old. It doesn't have legacy of hundreds of years, thousands of years like Europe has. So it's always natural evolution to take on more and give chance to young craft generations to get more involved. I think the new desire of Dubai culture to have the Al Goose creative zone is really amazing. I hope so. I'm praying to you, Dubai culture. Please make sure that people like me get a place for free, because we need this kind of resources to really create. And I'm happy it's finally happening, and they're investing in people like us, I believe, to give us a global opportunity to show what we're doing all over the world. So Dubai or the entire region is new to the game. I won't say it's late to the game, because in Europe you have hundreds of years of legacy, of talent, which has kind of disappeared, but slowly by slowly it's coming here. And I think people like me, I guess I'm old. I don't have the young time in my hand, but I'm trying to add to that the best way I can.
Let's say we are wise.
We are wise.
We are wise.
We are wise.
Considering, with your attachment to Dubai, the global art world, and everything is going to be craftsmanship. I consider that you like big sizes because you collaborated with Jaffrey on this. Was the largest canvas in the world? So you are in the history books also. Yeah. The Guinness World of Records, put in that way. So, and I put a massive, even 10 times bigger than the one you have, a massive white canvas on the top of the Burj Khalifa. What message would you write on it?
Oh my God, that's a great question to ask. I have to think about that. If I were to have an opportunity to write something on the Burj Khalifa, I would say, oh yeah, that's simple. You gave us a chance. You gave us a chance. Well, what I would say to the founding fathers, basically, to Sheikh Saeed, because my family is here because of His Highness Sheikh Saeed, late Sheikh Saeed. My father met him in the early '60s, and the first connection he had with him, he took his pictures. And His Highness asked my dad pretty much to stay in the region, and my father stayed, my family stayed from that point on. So if I had a message would be to him. I want to thank him for giving us this incredible, I'm shaking just talking about it, that he gave us a chance to stay in this country and be part of this incredible journey of 50 years in this nation. So I want to thank him for letting us stay in this country and then just letting my family evolve and grow.
It is amazing what you're saying, and I think if there is one message that really unite all of us, yesterday we had a fantastic interview with the president for Wyndham, Europe, Middle East and Africa, Eurasia, and he said, during the last year, the thing I did, I say thank you to many people.
Wow.
Same as you, and you say, I'm say thank you to there is something in common between you big guys, Neel, it has been incredible. Thank you very much for being on our show, and I hope in a year time I can have a second interview with you to see where we went in all your plans.
Well, next time you come, you have to craft. We'll be working and talking. How's that?
I'm ready.
Is a deal?
I don't have crafty hands, but
I think we can do something with you. No problem.
Of course.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.